Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Ark. My name is Allison Reed. I am the house manager at the Ark, and I thank you so much for joining us this evening. You are not missing out on being here. There is no audience tonight, but we are very happy to bring this show to you right where you are. This is the beginning of the holiday weekend, a set of traditional shows that we have had for a number of years, and so pleased to welcome Matt Watroba and to start it off with him tonight. I want to thank the ARC charter members who have sponsored this evening's show, which is most awesome. Probably a lot of them are watching, so thank you very much for that. Probably most of the audience tonight is pretty familiar with the ARC and perhaps pretty familiar with Matt Watroba. If you aren't, we want you to know that the ARC is a nonprofit organization, and during normal times, that is when there's not a pandemic, what we do is bring over 300 shows a year to this stage. So thank you so much for joining us on this holiday weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope your celebrations have been as lovely as they can be. And we look forward to a time when we can have you back here in these seats right in front of Matt Watroba. And it'll be a wonderful time. But tonight will be wonderful also. So I encourage you, set aside all the distractions that you can and really lose yourself in this evening. Sing along. I suspect Matt's going to encourage you to do that. And really enjoy yourselves and have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you for supporting the ARC, and thank you for supporting live music in particular. Are you ready, Matt?
Let's do it.
Matt's going to take it away. Thanks so much.
We're not going to let a little pandemic get in the way of a tradition, right? So good to know that you're out there, folks. We need each other now more than ever. So I'm going to begin with an old Union song, very easy to pick up on. And I'm going to segue into a contemporary song that was written by a lovely traditional singer and songwriter from down south that I met at the Swannanoa gathering by the name of Sarah Lynch Thomason. But first we'll sing this together. Step by step, the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none. Try it. Step by step, the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none, singly none, singly none. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more fires burning, they will find their way to me. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. There are more mountains falling, they will find their way to me. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. I will wade through the water, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the water, this I know. I will wade through the water when they find their way to me. I will wade through the water, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the water, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know. I will walk through the fire when they find their way to me. I will walk through the fire, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know. I will rebuild the mountain, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountain, this I know. I will rebuild the mountain when they find their way to me. I will rebuild the mountain, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountain, this I know. Step by step, the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none, singly none, singly none. We will get through this, right? I know we will, and we'll do it together because that's really the only way we can do it. What a year on so many counts. Yesterday we were all sitting around a table, hopefully, and counting our blessings. Not a bad thing to do every single day of your life, really. I'm going to sing this little song that I sing every year and talk about some of the folks who we lost in the world of folk music so far in 2020. Songs written by Jerry Rasmussen. All that I have is my grandfather's hammer, no railroad watch with the casing all worn, and the Bible my grandmother bought her last Christmas. She gave to my mother, now she's passed it on. Some may leave stories well tuned in the telling, some just a joke that will still make you laugh. It's not what you leave, it's the joy of remembering, and all I can leave you is a handful of song. It was a tough year for Texas songwriters. Learning about the passing of Justin Townes Earl, the great Billy Joe Shaver, writ so many great songs, but maybe the one of the Texas songwriters that hit the hardest was old Jerry Jeff Walker. Jerry Jeff wrote so many terrific songs, but the one, of course, we all know. If all he did was write this song. I knew a man, Bojangles, and he danced for you. Worn out shoes, silvered hair and ragged shirt and baggy pants. The old soft shoe, well, he lived up, died, and he done died. Shook back his clothes all around. Can you sing this little chorus? Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, dance. All three of those writers, of course, were on this stage at one time or another, whether this stage was here or someplace else in Ann Arbor. Billy Joe Shaver, Jerry Jeff Walker, Justin Townes Earl. Some may leave stories well tuned in the telling, some just a joke that can still make you laugh. Some may leave lessons so hard in the learning, some just a smile in an old photograph. Some may leave money from a lifetime of savings, some just their name on a marble stone. It's not what you leave, it's the joy of remembering, and all I can leave you is a handful of songs. Well, more than a handful of songs. The postman from Mayville, Illinois, cut his teeth at the Earl of Old Town and so many of the great folk clubs in the Chicago area. We lost John Prine early in this pandemic. The only one of the songwriters I'm mentioning we lost actually to COVID. But he wasn't really all that healthy, you know, he'd been through a lot of stuff. He was a great friend of the Ark. He was a great friend to songwriters. That first record he released, with that picture of him sitting by the haystack, it was like a greatest hits record. It gave songwriters permission to really write about things that actually happened to them, you know, real stories from their lives. Song, you know, you can gaze out the window, get mad and get madder, throw your hands in the air, say what does it matter, won't do you no good to get angry, so help me I know. Well, a heart stained in anger grows weak and grows bitter. You become your own prisoner as you watch yourself sit there wrapped up in a trap of your very own chain of sorrow. John Prine. So, Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, by the Green River where paradise lay? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. We'll never get another one of those for sure. How many days slip away without notice? How many friends have you lost on the way? How many good times are taken for granted and only remembered when they pass away? Some may leave money from a lifetime of savings, some just their name on a marble stone. It's not what you leave, it's the joy and remembering, and all I can leave you is a handful of songs. Maybe the most personal and the last guy I'll mention was another guy associated with Chicago, but of course he spent a lot of time here in Detroit, cut his teeth in the coffee houses down in South Florida, and wrote some of the most deeply poetic, beautiful, and musical songs that I've ever heard. And of course I'm talking about the great Michael Peter Smith. Dutchman's not the kind of man to leave his thumb jammed in the dam and holds his dreams in. That's a secret that only Margaret knows. When Amsterdam is calling in the summer, Margaret brings him breakfast. She believes him. Thinks the tulips bloom beneath the snow. He's mad as he can be, and Margaret, when he sees that sometimes she sees her unborn children in his eyes. Sing with me. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. And all that I have is my grandfather's hammer, an old railroad watch with the casing all worn, and the Bible my grandmother bought her last Christmas. She gave to my mother, now she's passed it on. Some may leave money from a lifetime of savings, some just their name on a marble stone. It's not what you leave, it's the joy of remembering, and all I can leave you is a handful of songs. I think about how this music has defined who I am, you know? I've been listening to this music my whole life. In fact, I've started a little YouTube channel that I'm doing a little series of 3-song videos called Trust the Song. And I'd love for you to go over there and check it out. I talk a lot about my relationship with the Ark. And in each video, I sing 3 songs that have meaning for me. And I want to keep doing that. And if you'd like to check it out, just go over to YouTube and you can just search my name and it should come up, and you could check out the 4 episodes that I already have. But what I realized while doing this project was just how much of my life has been shaped by this music. You know, I first came to the Ark when I was about 14 years old. I was a 9th grader in high school when it was over on Hill Street. And because of Dave and Linda Siglin and the Siglin family, I was able to sit as a kid and watch some of the most amazing talent anywhere in the world come to that little house on Hill. It's where I first started playing this music for people, leaving the bar rooms where I was playing and doing the open mics, what they called hoots back then on Wednesday nights. One of the things that have really informed my work lately, as you know, is this idea of getting folks to sing along. And that all started with an interview I did with the great Pete Seeger when he was 89 years old, when he told me that getting folks to sing was the most important work he did in his life. And this is a guy who, you know, marched on Selma. This is a guy who did so much to bring world music to America. A guy who pioneered the banjo and kept that instrument alive. And yet he said that getting people to sing was the most important work in his life. And isn't it amazing that when all this stuff went down back in February and March, the one thing they said, 2 things you shouldn't do: gather in a room, but especially don't sing. Well, you can sing where you're sitting right now. Let's do a couple of these old songs from the civil rights movement. Of course, they're just old spirituals that have been adapted for the use. That's what makes folk music different. It's adapted for the use. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days, hallelujah. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. You gotta try with me. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Oh, I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these, hallelujah. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. I'm gonna taste that milk and honey. I'm gonna taste that milk and honey one of these days, hallelujah. I'm gonna taste that milk and honey. I'm gonna taste that milk and honey one of these days. Sing about the welcome table. I'm I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Oh, I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these. Hallelujah. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. I'm gonna tell God how you treat me. I'm gonna tell God how you treat me one of these. Hallelujah. I'm gonna tell God how you treat me. I'm gonna tell God how you treat me one of these days. Sing it out now. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Oh, I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these. Hallelujah. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Sing it out now. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. You sing that again, and I'm gonna sing a different song. So you sing this little light at home. This little light of mine at the welcome table. Oh, I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these. Hallelujah. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Pick either song, it works. This little light of mine at the welcome table. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Hallelujah. This little light of mine, gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Sing it again. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Do it again, watch me. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. I'm imagining you doing this in your living room, and somebody from the other room is wondering what the hell is going on in there right now. If they think you're a little weird, don't worry. My guess is they probably thought you were a little weird anyway. So feel free to sing along. I have been doing sing-alongs online. But the problem with sing-alongs online, for those of you who have tried them, of course, is that everybody has to mute themselves because nobody's computer lines up. So there's no way to all sing together and actually hear it. So that makes it a little strange. But some of the good parts about that, one of the upsides to that whole thing, is that you can sing with abandon. You know, where if you're joining me in my song circle at the library or something, you may be a little reserved, but in the comfort of your own home, you don't need to be reserved at all. Sing away. In fact, it would mean a lot to me. You know, every year it seems these concerts are pretty emotional for me. This year has been a pretty emotional year in general, but these last 2 weeks in particular have been very emotional for me. I turned 60 years old. At the count of three, everybody say happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Reaching one of those milestones. But I also, sadly, lost my mom on November 16th. After a long battle with COPD, she finally kind of succumbed to that. Now, what's strange about it, because if you were at my art concert 4 years ago, That's when I lost my dad. And my mom and my dad died on the same day, 4 years apart, the November 16th. And then on November 17th, I turned 60 years old. So I'm happy to report that we were lucky to have both of them into their 80s, that my mom was surrounded by her favorite sound as she left the world, and that's the sound of her kids gathered around her telling stories and laughing together. Very often at Thanksgiving, we would be in the living room, all my two brothers and my sister and all our spouses and girlfriends and boyfriends and grandchildren, and I'd watch as my mom would just sit off and just smile at all the laughter and all the love that she was responsible for. So I think if I can get through it, and what crowd, what audience do I trust more than this one to give me that strength? I'm going to sing the song my mom always requested. It was her favorite. When I was living at home and performing, it's the only way I could get breakfast the next day, is if I sang this song the night before. Let's sing it together. It's actually a song I recorded right here at the Ark over 20 years ago for my first recording, Matt Watroba Live at the Ark. Pretty clever title, huh? But this was Camille's favorite. It was also Woody Guthrie's favorite song. It was not written by Woody, it was written by Goebel Reeves. But Woody loved to sing this song. But tonight, it goes out to Camille. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. Now I can teach you this song because I can do it Pete Seeger style. That is, I can say the words and then you can sing them. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let's try it. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. That's the hobo's lullaby. I know your clothes are torn and tattered, and your hair is turning gray. But lift your head and smile at trouble. You'll find peace and rest one day. Go to sleep. So go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear? Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. Don't you worry about tomorrow. Let tomorrow come and go. Tonight you're in a nice warm boxcar, safe from all the wind and snow. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear? Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. Well, this was my mom's favorite verse, and you'll see why in a minute. Never let your heart be troubled if the world calls you a bum. 'Cause if your mother lives, she loves you, and you're still your mother's son. This was Woody Guthrie's favorite verse. I know the police cause you trouble. They cause trouble everywhere. But when you die and go to heaven, there won't be no policeman there. So go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let me hear you. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. Let's sing it one more time. So go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. My mom and dad were married for 61 years. Can you imagine that? And this was at a time where people didn't take separate vacations, we're used to that kind of behavior today. But boy, when my parents got married in the late 50s, and they spent every single day of their lives together, 61 years in a row. That's a lot. As my friend Robert Jones would say, that's a long time to be with a man. They teased each other. Oh my God. Humor was such an important part of our family. And I think part of the reason is because when my dad was 13 years old, a lot of you know this, he was stepping off a trolley car in Detroit, and he was doing an errand for his grandma, I think, or for his mom, going to the butcher shop. And when he stepped off the trolley car, a city truck hooked him by the arm and literally dragged him down the street for about a quarter of a mile. And that resulted in my dad losing his right arm. He was right-handed, losing his right arm from about here down. Now, I spent my whole life with a guy who, he never got anything like a fake arm or prosthetic, anything like that, prosthesis. Instead, he showed us in the world how you could be successful, happy, and thrive with that so-called disability. And I probably learned more from watching my dad spend his whole life compensating for this thing, and especially by using humor. He was a car salesman most of his life. So, he said this was losing his arm was the best thing that ever happened to him, because who would forget him, right? And people would say, how'd you lose your arm? He said, well, the truth is, I said I'd sell I'd give my right arm if I could sell this guy a car. And that's what the kids would go, Grandpa, what happened to your arm? And he'd say, well, I didn't look both ways when I crossed the street. He always had a sense of humor about it, and taught me and our family to have a sense of humor in the strangest places. Well, I should tell you that when that happened to my dad, he was a huge Detroit Tiger fan at the age of 13. He loved the Tigers. And when he was in the hospital, this was 1948, which was a great year for the Detroit Tigers, his favorite players came to visit him in the hospital. Hal Newhouser was there, Dizzy Trout. All these great 1948 players came and then invited him, because he was in the hospital for several months, invited him to come and sit in the dugout at Briggs Stadium, which it was back then before it turned to Tiger Stadium. And he got to watch a whole game and meet every single player. And from that day on, he became a Tigers fan. And he passed it on to me. I have so many memories of going to the Tiger Stadium with him. One day, a few years back, I was driving home from the radio station. And instead of hopping on the freeway, I decided to just go down Michigan Avenue and because I have to explain to people when I perform this song around the country that when you tear down a baseball stadium in most places, they build one right back up pretty quickly in the same spot because of real estate. But in Detroit, that's not how we roll, right? In Detroit, we don't tear it down for about 6 or 7 years. We let it sit there and sort of dilapidate before our eyes. And then in about 7 or 8 years, then we decide to tear it down. And then we just leave the hole there for another 4 or 5, 6 years. And one day I was driving home and looking up at the lights were still up, the gate was still a little broken. I saw where we used to park our car, and I thought to myself, they used to play baseball here. And I thought, I got to write this song for my dad. I drive on through the broken gate, past the booth now still and dark, where once the cars were bathed in light, spilling over from the park. I'd flip my keys to Jim or Steve, find my seat and have a beer. But this old house is coming down, they used to play baseball here. The stadium has moved downtown, leaving nothing on the street. They traded in a neighborhood for a corporate box or suite. I know it's good for business, that point has been made clear. But this old house is coming down, they used to play baseball here. Game days we would stand outside in a line curled round the block. But Gracie's eggs were worth the wait, and I loved the baseball talk. I'd marvel how the morning hours would somehow disappear. But Gracie's place is coming down, they used to serve breakfast here. New joints out on exit 5, you don't have to stand in line. They traded conversation for a convenient place to dine. I know it's good for business, that point has been made clear. But this old house is coming down, they used to play baseball here. I know we're moving forward, and I guess we probably should. But there's a cost for what we've lost when things are gone for good. The barber shop near Gracie's was a gathering for guys. Between innings on the radio, they spent hours spinning lies. A ring of smoke, a dirty joke, for over 40 years. Saturday is not the same, they used to give haircuts here. The new salon stretch on and on, Walt's place was cramped and small. They traded in a gathering place for a cheap cut at the mall. I know it's good for business, that point has been made clear. But Saturdays are not the same, they used to play baseball here. This old house, it's coming down, they used to play baseball here. I got to tell you one thing as I was playing that song and thinking of my old man. At his funeral, again, we were a family that would often use humor in the tensest of times. And I'll never forget, because he played these kinds of jokes all the time, and I almost feel bad about doing this. But on the day, you know that day when they first lay out the body at the funeral home, and the guy who runs the funeral home is pretty proud of how they fixed the body up and everything. And so before anybody comes in, he brings the family in, the immediate family, and we gather around the casket, and I think he kind of waits for compliments as to how well he did on the body. And I couldn't help myself. I looked at it, he goes, "Well, is this okay?" And I said, "Well, where's his arm?" Broke the tension with my family, but I think I horrified that poor funeral director. It's just the kind of thing my dad would have said. No question about it. No question about it. Well, just before all the madness hit, I just put out a brand new record. My live, by the way, I should mention, this is actually my first solo concert, virtual or any kind, since the end of February. I was just going on tour in March down in the South when everything shut down. We got stuck in Memphis for about a week before we could safely drive home. But right before that, I did a brand new record all songs written by the great songwriter Cy Khan. Cy Khan is a friend of mine, a dear, dear guy, and he was turning 75 last year, and he wanted some of his songs to be recorded that he never recorded before. And when he heard me do a concert down in Charlotte, North Carolina, where he lives, he took me to breakfast the next day and he said, here's a bunch of my funny sing-along songs, and you would be the perfect person to put these on a record. And so I did just that. Took about a year, and I came up with we call it the Far Cy, the Cy Khan sing-along funny songbook. And I really only got to play these songs one time in my CD release concert, and I haven't played them much since, but I thought maybe I'd see if I can resurrect a couple songs from the new record. As you might imagine, because artists like us sell most of our records from the stage, and there are no more stages really, that I have a whole closet full of these that I would be happy to send to you if you purchase them. And you can do that by heading over to my website, which is mattwatroba.net. They make great Christmas gifts, and they're all very funny songs, and I think they're funny, and they're fun, and maybe that's just what we need right now. And they'll fit right in the stocking above the hearth, I think, too. So I'd love to see if you'd like to take a few of those off my hands. Well, here's one he wrote that I thought was so funny. Now, I get the feeling that maybe he was too embarrassed to ever put these out, because Cy Khan has written some of the greatest songs that will last forever. Songs that, I remember the day my granddaddy died, gonna rise again, Aragon Mill, and on and on and on. Some of the finest songs. He's not only is he a great songwriter, but of course he's been an activist his whole life. So I was just beside myself when he asked me to do this. So here's one of the ones I'll try and do for you here. I figured I would use this song if I ever got invited to play a socially conservative gathering. Now, I don't know that will ever happen, but if it does, they can be safe in knowing that we're going to sing a song about the farm together, because they love farms. And this is the song I would do. It's called Gate and Stray. Gates and Stray. Don't let your mind wander down on the farm. You might leave the gate open and you might come to harm. There are strays of every shape and size roaming about. A stray might get in and a stray might get out. This is the part you sing. And it's gate and stray together, gate and stray together, gate and stray together, down on the farm. And it's gate and stray together, gate and stray together, gate and stray together, down on the farm. See what I mean? I wish I was an apple, fine as I could sew. I wish I really knew the words to every song I think I know. For if I were an apple hanging on the vine, I'd wait until those grapes were ripe and drink up all that wine. And it's gate and stray together, gate and stray together, gate and stray together, down on the farm. And it's gate and stray together, gate and stray together, gate and stray together, down on the farm. There's a time to reap, there's a time to sow, time to shut your mouth and not say everything you think you know. A time to rejoice, there's a time to grieve, a time to have the sense to know it's time for you to leave. And it's gate and stray together, gate and stray together, gate and stray together, down on the farm. And it's gate and stray together, gate and stray together, gate and stray together, down. One more time. And it's gate and stray together, gate and stray together, gate and stray together, down on the farm. Cy Khan, what a treasure that man is. Well, I cannot sing this song without help, so I'm going to ask the woman I am lucky to be quarantined with for the last 8 months, my lovely wife of 30, what, 6?
I
5?
forget. It's been a rough year.
My dad would always have this joke. where I would say, Dad, how old are you now? He'd say, well, I'm 79, but really I'm 78 because I was sick a year. I think 2020 can be the year we were all sick a year. In fact, I just made the decision. Next year we'll celebrate my 60th birthday here at the Ark. What do you think? Because I was sick a year. Now the reason I can't do this song and I need the help of my wife Kim is because we don't want the Ark to lose its club license. Cy Khan wrote this song when he was waiting to do a little thing on public radio with Robin and Linda Williams. And before he went out to go on the air, they handed him this sheet of paper of all the things he can't say on the air. And Cy said he immediately wrote this song. But I can't sing the words, all of them. I'm doing the other song. How's it start? There I got This is so similar to the last song. You can sing just as bad as you want to. You can growl like an old brown bear. You can screech like a cat. You can even sing flat, but you can't say on the air. No, you can't say on the air. No, you can't say on the air. You can do anything that you want to, but you can't say on the air. Do you ever watch TV baseball? They're putting their hands everywhere. They scratch at their clothes, they pick at their nose, but they don't say on the air. Oh, you can't say on the air. Oh, you can't say on the air. You can do anything that you want to, but you can't say on the air. You can do anything. We're spending the evening at Grandma's. The children and babies are there. We're watching TV and the blood's running free, but you can't say on the air. No, you can't say on the air. No, you can't say on the air. You can do anything that you want to, but you can't say on the air. We're so glad you could be on our program. Channel 2 is so glad that you're there. So give it a whack and you're sure to come back if you don't say on the air. Oh, you can't say on the air. Oh, you can't say on the air. You can do anything that you want to, but you can't say on the air. You can do anything that you want to, but you can't say on the air. Do you know, the crazy thing about that song is when I sent it out to the radio stations, folk DJs all across the country, it was the #1 song played in the month of February of 2020. So you can see my career was about to really
Take off.
That's right. Well, now that I've got Kim up here, we've been having such a great time singing together over the last several years. It all started when I made the mistake of moving all the way down to Ohio, and I left all my friends and family behind except for our immediate family, and there was just no one to sing with. And then I remembered Kim is a wonderful singer. We just never really explored the possibility of us doing this together. What?
No.
It was almost like you were going to say something there.
That I love you.
Well, that's good. So here's a song that I don't like singing by myself. I'd much rather have 1 or 2 or 3 people singing it with me, and it's got a lot of repeating lines, and I know some of you out there already know it. And this was a song that I wrote back when I did a record called Jukebox Folk. Now, a lot of my older records are not available hard copy anymore, but you can download them all from the website as well. And this is one of the ones that I keep singing, and I think I'll be singing for a long time. I'll build from the lessons I learned in my youth. How will I leave and open my eyes and my heart to the truth? That's how I'll leave this earth. How will I leave? How will I leave this earth? When it comes my time to go, how will they measure my worth? I will live on, and those that I touched while I lived, in this journey of life from my death to my birth, that's how I'll leave this earth. I can hear the Yellow Room Gang singing. It's choice and not chance that has brought me along. How will I leave? And showed me the difference between right and wrong. That's how I'll leave this earth. How will I leave? How will I leave this earth? When it comes my time to go, how will they measure my worth? I will live on, and those that I touched while I lived, in this journey of life from my death to my birth, that's how I'll leave this earth. Some say we'll live on up in heaven above. How will I leave? I will live on through the ones that I love. That's how I'll leave this earth. How will I leave? How will I leave this earth? When it comes my time to go, how will they measure my worth? I will live on, and those that I touched while I lived, in this journey of life from my death to my birth, that's how I'll leave this earth. In this journey of life from my death to my birth, that's how I'll leave this earth. Again, that one's on Jukebox Folk. Let's do one from the Carter family. I think of my dad when I sing this song. One of the things we did for my dad, he lived to be 81 years old, but when he turned 80, he was on oxygen and he was pretty sick, and we knew he didn't have long. And we decided to throw him, I'll put air quotes around it, what we'll call an 80th birthday party. But the truth is, if there was anyone on this earth who would have wanted to be at his own funeral, it was my father. He thrived on company. You could walk into an event where everybody, like a wedding or even after a funeral, and my dad was at the table where everyone was laughing, because that's what he did. He took that humor with him wherever he went. So I knew he would love. My brothers and my sister all got together, my mom, and we put together this party, which I think we originally had 90 guests invited, and like 150 people showed up because he was so loved. And it reminded me of this old Carter family song, and it reminds me to remind you that if you have someone in your life like that, after this COVID craziness is over, throw them that party. Give me the roses while I live. Don't wait until I die.
Wonderful things of folks are said when they have passed away. Roses adorn the narrow bed over the sleeping
flowers that you give after the soul is gone.
Let us not wait to do good deeds till they have passed away. Now is the time to sow good seeds while here on earth we stay. Give me the roses while I live, trying to cheer me on. Useless are flowers that you give after the soul is gone. Kind words are useless when folks lie cold in a narrow bed. Don't wait till death to say kind words. Now should those words be said. Give me the roses while I live. Don't wait until I die to spread the roses over my grave to see as you pass it by. Give me the roses while I live, trying to cheer me on. Useless are flowers that you give after the soul is gone. To Canaan's land I'm on my way, where the soul of man never dies. My darkest night will turn to day, where the soul of man never dies. Dear friends, there'll be no sad farewells, there'll be no tear-dimmed eyes, where all is peace and joy and love, and the soul of man never dies. A love light beams across the foam, where the soul of man never dies. It shines to light the shores of home, where the soul of man never dies. Dear friends, there'll be no sad farewells, there'll be no tear-dimmed eyes, where all is peace and joy and love, and the soul of man never dies. A rose is blooming there for me, where the soul of man never dies. And I will spend eternity where the soul of man never dies. Dear friends, there'll be no sad farewells, there'll be no tear-dimmed eyes, where all is peace and joy and love, and the soul of man never dies. I'm on my way to that fair land, where the soul of man never dies. And there will be no parting then, where the soul of man never dies. Dear friends, there'll be no sad farewells, there'll be no tear-dimmed eyes, where all is peace and joy and love, and the soul of man never dies. All right, no more death songs. I got just a couple more to do here. And I'll get Kim to sing one more with me. And I just want to thank a few people before I forget. I want to thank my fellow charter members here at the ARC. The Charter Member Board is a board that, let's face it, it's the old guys and gals. You know, it's the old guard. And one of the things that they decided as the ARC kept,
expanding and just turning into this amazing place was that we needed a board of people who remember and had a history with the Ark, just to make sure that the Ark will always stay on its mission. And so I forget how many of us, I think there's 12 or 15 of us, and I'm very proud to be on that board. And I was very, very proud and honored when I found out that they sponsored this concert tonight. So I just want to say thank you to Bob Gunzel and all those folks who did that. I also want to say thanks to the Ark. Think of people, we think and see people in restaurants and all that, and we know that's hard for people. What's happened to artists, and especially touring artists, and the places they play, and the sound people, and all the folks behind the scenes, their work disappeared completely. Not all of these venues are going to survive, but the Ark will survive because the Ark is so well run. Marianne James, thank you for keeping this place strong. Thanks to Anya Siglin and the whole staff here at the Ark, to this amazing crew on sound, on lights, and on camera tonight. The Ark will always be here because it's in the right hands. It's always in the right hands. It's a smart, smart organization. I want to thank all of you too, but I'll do that in a minute. Let's sing this Everly Brothers song. I want to hear you all out there on Zoom and on Facebook and on YouTube, wherever you find yourself. This pandemic has been a really good excuse for Kim and I to sit around and sing Everly Brothers songs together. Dream, 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 dream. Dream, dream, dream when I want you in my arms, and I want you and all your charms whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream, 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 dream when I feel blue in the night, and I need you to hold me tight whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream. I can make you mine, taste your lips of wine, anytime, night or day. Only trouble is, gee whiz, I'm dreaming my life away. I need you so that I could die. I love you so, and that is why whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream. Oh, let me hear you at home now. I can make you mine, taste your lips of wine, anytime, night or day. Only trouble is, gee whiz, I'm dreaming my life away. I need you so that I could die. I love you so, and that is why whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream, 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 dream. How about another hand for Kim Watroba? Thank you. Well, now comes my least favorite time of my art concert, when I have to wrap things up. So I'm going to do two really short songs here and then say goodnight to y'all. This has become, I think, my most popular song that I've written. I have a video I'm pretty proud of that I did with the music that we did on my last album with Robert Jones, which is called Common Chords. He plays a really sweet harmonica on the song. And there's a video on that same YouTube channel that I mentioned earlier And with all the changes going on in the country, I think maybe this song is resonating because it's important to ask these questions right now. And notice they're just questions. I joked that I wrote this song back in 2017 when I realized that half of my Facebook friends unfriended the other half of my Facebook friends. And that's the polarized country we live in. I don't think it got any better since then. So I'll just keep singing this one. Could you love me if I don't look like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I see myself in you? Could you love me if I don't look like you? Could you love me if I don't think like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I see myself in you? Could you love me if I don't think like you? This life's a burning candle, and it would be a shame if we ignored the difference between the smoke and the flame. Could you love me if I don't pray like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I see myself in you? Could you love me if I don't pray like you? This moment is a miracle, so why not find a way to be here and be grateful that we share another day? Could you love me if I don't love like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I find myself in you? Could you love me if I am not like you? Well, I think what we'll do is just sing one more song together. Seems to make sense to me. And why not have it be a Pete Seeger song? With a Peter, Paul, and Mary ending. This will be the encore. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we were able to keep the tradition going. I'm not quite sure how many years it's been. It might be 26, 27 years that we've been doing this concert at the Ark every day after Thanksgiving. And another shout out to this amazing crew. Face it, folks, they're just like us, like me, happy to get out of the house. And I'm happy to have them here. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, sing it all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Ooh, if I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Ooh, if I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Ooh, well, I've got a hammer and I've got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's the song about love between brothers and sisters all over this land. We'll sing a little more of this. I just also want to remind you that although this concert was absolutely free to anyone who wanted to hear it, if you're able to give a little bit, you can check right there on Facebook. It'll tell you how to do that, and the money goes directly to the Ark and to me. And I think those are two really worthy causes right now. But if you can't afford it, don't worry about it. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Sing it. Well, I've got a hammer and I've got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's the song about love between brothers and sisters all over this land. Thanks, everybody.